Well, I think for me, I think it's been a successful World Cup because for me, the World Cup is about getting as many teams from around the world celebrating the game of cricket. And it was great to see the UAE, Afghanistan, Scotland, and Ireland all having their moments during this World Cup, which they'll treasure forever and hopefully inspire a future generation. So, first of all, I'd like to say that on the cricket side, we've seen now in every World Cup, a team takes it to another level. And what we've seen in this World Cup is two teams. Two teams, and I mean by that Australia and New Zealand, who have played a brand of cricket which is different to anyone else. The reason they've been successful is that they've got dynamic batsmen at the top of the order, which has been around for a long time now, probably since '96, with Sri Lanka, who started that brand of cricket. If you remember back to '96 as well, we had the opening bowlers, which were spinners. That seems to have gone out of the game now. It comes back now and again. I think one of the teams tried it against New Zealand, didn't they, where they opened with spin. Might have been, was that Bangladesh? I can't remember anyway. So the brand of cricket now, going forward, has got to be a brand what Australia and New Zealand are playing. I can't see it being taken to another level since then. But what you can do is perfect that brand of cricket. What I'd like to see is other teams around the world now, India and Pakistan and England, the West Indies, all taking that brand to the next level before the next World Cup, which is obviously in England here. It'll be difficult because over here the wickets won't be as flat as they were in Australia. I wouldn't accept a high strike rate of the late 80s, 80 runs per 100 balls. I would be looking around probably around late 70s, early 80s, I would say, is a realistic target. So teams now have got to be planning for that World Cup and picking the right players to shine. Now, Australia with a ball, let's look at the successful bowlers in this World Cup. They've all been bowlers who have bowled wicket to wicket. They've bowled out the stumps with a new ball, with attacking fielders in place, which I think is going to be vital when you come to England for the World Cup. And at the death, the same thing. When you bowl at the end of the innings, the successful bowlers have been the ones where, yes, variety is such a key in one-day cricket. But I think we've gone a full circle now where batsmen now are clever. They've cottoned on to the variety situation. They're expecting, and what they do now, and especially when they played in New Zealand, you play at the death expecting a slow ball or variety. And then if the fast fire ball comes in, you just use the pace of the ball with the short boundaries, and that's what happened. And I think a classic example of that for me was in the semi-final when South Africa played New Zealand. Now, South Africa had it in the bag. 3 balls to go. Vettori set himself for a slow ball from Dale Steyn. Now, it wasn't a slow ball. Now, if he'd have bowled that ball flat at the stumps, straight at the stumps, it would have been impossible for Vettori to do what he did. Instead, Dale Steyn went for a wide Yorker. He didn't quite get it right. He ended up being a full toss, and he didn't have to play a shot. He just put his bat there, and because of the short boundaries, which are 40, 50 metres on that side at Eden Park, he just let the pace do the work of the ball. 95 miles an hour, 93 miles an hour ball, just put his bat there. So what bowlers have got to do is be clever and expect now, and with the variety, go back to basics. Bowl at the stumps, bowl your Yorkers, which is going to be your stock delivery, because the best bowlers this World Cup have all had a good Yorker. Dale Steyn, who's still pretty good at it, Malinga, Stark, Trent Boult, who bowled straight and full at the stumps early on. They've been the best bowlers at the end of the innings. And that's one thing what a lot of teams will be looking to improve before the next World Cup. Because if you look at some of the runs what have been scored in those last 10 overs during this World Cup, I think it's somewhere where we could improve. All teams could improve in that area. I think they'll have to look at the 2 new balls issue in the UK. As a bowler, I would love to be bowling either end with a new ball. So that would be something they might have to look at purely for that reason. I don't think the ball will reverse as much as it would have done in Australia or in Asia. So I think they could use one ball in the UK. And it brings back the skill of the bowler as well, because I think reverse swing is a huge part of a bowler's armoury. And if you're going to take that out, you're taking it away from some of the best bowlers in the world. And I think if you have that skill, you should be able to showcase it on the biggest spectacle of all, which is a World Cup. And I think we've missed it, this World Cup, I really do. When teams are scoring 150 off the last 10 overs, I mean, it's becoming a joke, isn't it? But I think I'd like to see the skill of the fast bowler come back into play. I don't mind the fielders out. I think whatever they want to do there, if you bowl the ball in the right areas, yeah, the batsmen are pretty good these days, and they can hit the ball 360 degrees, which you expect. You expect to go for runs. I like the power plays. I think the power plays are important, and you get specialist bowlers doing that. Well, I think all it's shown to me, this World Cup, is that the teams that have been successful in it is the ones that have embraced T20 cricket. And it's been an expansion of that game. Australia, New Zealand, South Africa and India. They're the ones who have been successful because they've embraced the way the game of cricket has changed. Now, it's a big wake-up call for countries like my own, England. We're way behind. We're way behind India, New Zealand. We're on a par with Pakistan and West Indies, and we should be above that with the county cricket, the professional game we have in this country. But we've not embraced it. We've not embraced T20 cricket, and I think we've got to get rid of the stubbornness what's been involved in our game, and embrace the IPL, the Big Bash, and hopefully get more and more players playing in that. Because if you look at our players in my country who have played in the Big Bash and had success in it, none of them were involved in the World Cup. It's comical, isn't it, really? We had Alex Hales, who played a couple of games in the Big Bash. But other than that, we've got Lum, we've got Luke Wright, we've got Kevin Peterson, who all did well in the Big Bash, and none of them played in the World Cup. And I think that's the biggest lesson for a lot of countries. We've got to embrace it now, and it is an extension. Players are clever, batsmen especially, have worked their way out. I think bowlers have got a lot of catching up to do, a lot of thinking, because when you sit down and you have your game plans, I think a lot of thought goes into the batting side of it without really thinking about the bowling side of it. And there is an art to bowling at the end of the innings, and it's not changed that much over the years. It's still the bowlers what get it full and straight are the best bowlers in the world at the end. Stark, Malinga. There's a classic example. They didn't do anything different. How many times did you see Stark bowling wide Yorkers, or bowling balls, slow balls, pitching on leg or pitching outside off? He bowled at the stumps, because the best way to slow a batsman down from scoring runs is to get him out. He misses, you hit. A percentage will tell you a batsman at some point will miss a ball. Percentages tell you that. If you only go on stats and percentages, you bowl straight, if they miss, you hit. Simple, he's out.